Well, on the road to Next.js Conf, I'm on the road again myself here at Schiphol Airport here in Amsterdam, going to Sanity's all hands get together for 2024, which is excellent. There's going to be so many people there that I don't even know who they are. Sanity's grown so much in the last 12 months. But I've got plenty of time in transit today to edit 2 videos, 2 interviews that I've filmed recently, one with Cap from Sanity, who will also be on stage with me at Next.js Conf, and another with Aurora, who I met at React Conf earlier this year and is all over the conference speaking circuit and will also be at Next.js Conf this year too. So, like I said, plenty of time in airplanes to do nothing other than video edit and post those once I'm on reliable Wi-Fi, hopefully this evening. But hopefully we'll record some content from Spain as well, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks at Next.js Conf. Got a party coming up, got the run the morning before, got the hackathon the day before as well. So much going on at Next.js Conf, so have to get ready, have to finish writing my own talk, but I'll see you there. Hey Kat, how you going?
Hey, good.
We've never actually met, have we? We're going to see each other in a few weeks.
Yeah,
we're going to see you in Spain.
Never met. Yeah.
Strange, because we've both been at Sanity for a while. I feel like I get this comment, and I reckon you probably get the same, is how does it feel when someone says, oh, you're like the face of Sanity? I'm sure you've had comments like that before.
Well, yeah, like the face of Sanity, or I learned so much from you, or you're the reason why I started using Sanity. And I'm like, little old me? Like what? And like, I'm just the face in front of a bunch of engineers that are doing incredible stuff.
I feel the same. Like, it's like standing on the shoulders of giants a lot of times. And I think I gave a presentation at All Hands here a few weeks ago, and like wanted to highlight, the conversations that I've been having with partners or with, other developers and things, but then sort of linking it back to packages that have been developed or new features that have been made. And it's like, because engineering gave us this thing, I was able to have this conversation, or we're able to, capitalize on this opportunity. And it doesn't happen just because we're out here on camera. It happens because those packages are built so that we can then show them off. So it's really cool to be able to emphasize that back to the people that create the things that we get to be the face of. We're just disseminating everybody else's really intelligent work down to YouTube videos and tweets. So you just got done being the face of Laravel there for a little bit. That was quite an interesting time, I imagine, because like that's a different community. But then that was really cool to see your face all over that as well. I don't know, in the moments since, like, do you have like a reflection on that week? Because you sort of blew up there for a hot minute.
The Laravel community is unreal. Like, I had so much fun at that conference. They're just some of the nicest people. They want to build cool things, and they're excited for their friends to build cool things. Like, everyone's very like motivating and encouraging over there. I don't build with Laravel, and so I don't have a lot to like contribute technically with them, but we all care about community, and that is what my talk was on over at Laracon, was building your village. And so I feel like everyone in tech or in real estate or in restaurants or whatever, community is everything, because you want to go into work and care about the people that you're working with or the product that you're working on.
I think there's like an admiration on the outside, and hopefully that leads to like an arms race of niceness. Like I think the others would like to have the same community as Laravel, right? So like it's inspiring to know that it can be done. I know that you gave that talk about community. I was wondering, like, what else like excites you or inspires you? But I guess particularly because I know we're speaking to a developer audience with Next.js conference, and it's kind of the theme of these videos is like getting down to the brass tacks of development. Like, what really excites you? And this doesn't have to be a Sanity sales pitch either, this section too. But like, what when you are writing code or when you're solving development problems, like, is there something, a particular class of problems that excites you or motivates you?
I got into tech about 7 years ago, and I went to a coding boot camp, and it sucked. It's really hard. But you do it, and there's a lot to like learn. And I'm really passionate about that beginner phase, whether it's getting into tech or getting into a new product. And so say it's learning Next for the first time or learning Sanity for the first time. I'm really passionate about getting people to that aha moment. And that inspires me to create those videos or to create that content or write that post that gets someone past that little hump that they just can't seem to get past. Because like one of my hardest things when I was starting to learn tech was Git and like how to just Git in general was like
Yeah.
really confusing to me. And there was one article, I wish I could find it, but there was one article that just like all of a sudden made it click for me. And so I want to make things that make things click for people. Because web development is amazing. We can make anything,
Yeah.
we can write any line of code and write anything for the web, or not even just for the web, for any, like, web development's amazing.
I feel much the same. Is that I think when I'm beating my head against something new, it makes me wonder, how did I ever learn anything? Because I remember
Yeah.
trying to get my head around map, filter, and reduce the first times, like when I was first getting into JavaScript, which actually wasn't that long ago. I was writing PHP for much longer than before then. But yeah, it's this. I think it's the same every time you come across a new hard problem. It's like, how did I ever learn anything the first time? Learning's awful. So yeah, to try and reduce that barrier and that frustration, I think is a really motivating part for. How comfortable are you on stage? I know I get asked this a bit because you've been on conference stages and I've been on conference stages too. And actually, I find that the most comfortable part of any conference. To me, the uncomfortable part of being in a conference is like standing in the room of 1,000 other people. I don't know. How do you feel about walking on stage? Do you have to go into an alter ego, or you psych yourself up backstage before you walk out there, or how do you feel about that in general?
So the biggest stage I've spoken for was Laracon
Hmm.
last month. So I'll speak to that one because that one I was so nervous for. And like I lost sleep over that conference. I was like, I'd lay down to go to sleep, and then I'd all of a sudden start thinking about, oh, you're gonna have to walk on stage for Laracon. Oh, you're gonna have to present at Laracon. And I'm like, and then my heart would start racing. I'm like, I can't do this. But what I did before walking onto that stage, I don't know if you saw it, but there was like a smoke thing that we walked
Mm.
through. And then the night before, I like practiced a little bit of hula. So I did like hula on stage. And so that kind of like changing the changing the way I walked on was like really helpful because it kind of like
Mm.
broke the ice, I guess, for me and the audience. But before, I was backstage, and I remember, this is a trick that I do. I squeeze all my muscles like really tight because I'm like, my heart's racing and everything's like really tense. So I tense up my whole body as tense as it can go. And then I relax. And I would do that a couple times. And so that kind of helps me also with being on stage, but I'm just always nervous. Like my heart will always race, my voice will always quiver, but it's good. Like I like being scared, I like
Hmm.
because then it's like, oh, this is like a little adrenaline rush. This is like a little high that I'm gonna get that humans just naturally need.
I like that. You don't have to get nervous if you're always nervous. Just
Yeah.
on edge. I think I'm always nervous about the first step on stage. I have a fear of like walking out and tripping for like on my first step. But I think other than that, and actually I did one conference where it was actually a stage I had to walk up some stairs to get onto, and it was a lightning talk, and I wanted to make every second count. And so I determined that I was going to jump the stairs and I was going to jump on the stage. And I'm a tall guy. I cleared it fine, but like I was looking at
Yeah.
the lip of that stage, thinking there is every chance today's the day that I actually just go straight over that stage. But yeah,
Well, at Laracon, it was smoke, and then you had to walk down 3 stairs,
ooh,
and I was wearing, like, just, like, little high heels, but I'm like, I'm gonna eat it on stage. I'm gonna biff it, and I'm not gonna be okay. This is gonna be so bad," but it turned out good.
it sounds like an
So,
obstacle course to get people on. Yeah.
I
But
know. Well,
maybe
because
it's a
all the
distraction.
smoke.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have entrance music? Actually, I'm a bit jealous of that. Like, did you get to choose your entrance music? I think
Yeah,
that would have been sweet.
we did.
Very good. All right. Anyway, thanks for your time this morning, Cap.
Yes, of course.
Hey, I've got Aurora on the call today, who's also speaking at Next.js Conf, and I thought it'd be fun to have a very quick chat about all things the conference life. You're a regular on the speaker circuit, I'd say. How many conferences have you been to this year?
This year, maybe 7, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot, or 8. I mean, yeah, probably something like that.
Is that more than usual, or are you on a pretty regular cadence of doing these things now, or is
Um,
your conference speaking career taking off?
I'm not sure. I mean, I just started last year, so I'm like, I don't know what is regular, I'm
Okay.
just I'm submitting things, and then it looks exciting, and I know that I want to present something that is valuable, right? So,
Hmm.
okay, if I have the time, I would love to go there. So that's
Yeah.
pretty much what I've been doing, just trying to make it work as much as possible, right?
Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure. I've gotten to a few this year, but it's already starting to stack up where having to turn away requests. So
Yeah,
it can be fun, but it can be tiring at the same time.
it
Would you say, like, I
definitely.
know the travel side is fun, but also I've sat on the floor of an airport at 4:30 in the morning eating a banana, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like, it's not all glamorous. I suppose what excites you then about the things that you're speaking about in particular,
Hmm.
like the submissions. I mean, I saw your talk at React Conf there about
Hmm.
React 19. Is that
Hmm.
largely what you've been speaking about, or are there other facets?
Um, well, the reason I've been speaking a lot about server components and React 19 is because that's what I'm kind of working on in my full-time job, which is being a consultant in Norway. So it's like this is what I have expertise in right now,
Hmm.
and considering being a full-time consultant, there's limited time to kind of learn a whole nother topic, right? So that's why I'm doing
Mm,
that because I know I have a value that maybe somebody who doesn't know it that well doesn't have.
sure. And
Yeah.
you've got that hands-on experience of having built
Yeah,
stuff with React
definitely.
19. So,
Yeah.
can you encapsulate what your excitement about React 19 is? Because I know I had another conversation with one of our engineers
Mhm.
the other day, and he's extremely excited about React 19. So, uh,
Yeah.
can,
Well, of course, the whole server component world is just very different, and it's very exciting. And it's one thing is how powerful it is in terms of the application performance and user experience, but also just learning a new technology, right? And learning to
Mhm.
work in a different way, learning new development patterns. That's very exciting because you're so used to the old React, where you're making your single page application and then you're doing the same thing in the same libraries, and now you have to do it completely different way. So
Yeah.
that's very exciting. As for the React 19, I think all of the new features are just very powerful. Not just the new hooks and such, but also just the improvements to metadata and style sheets and those things, like improvements for any React application. Hmm.
Yeah, I maintain that there's nothing more fun in development than rewriting something in a new way, like something that already works. And so React 19 gives us a little bit of that, which is exciting
Yeah.
too.
I,
Um,
I have this component library that I'm working with at work, and I really want to try to use, because it's not going to be any server component stuff or hooks, right? But I want to try
mhm.
and use these new features there and try to simplify some of the code. And yeah, when React 19 is going to be released eventually, that's
So it's
exciting.
it's the composability story as well, isn't it? Like, I've only
Mm.
had limited experience getting real deep on React server components, but being able to compose server things
Yeah.
along with and put them inside of client things, I think that's quite interesting.
It's like the first time you do it, it's like magic, and then it kind of just becomes normal. At the first, it's like, wow, this really, and that's what I did in my talk at ReactConf, like make this example of how you can compose them in that way and how it works together.
Mm.
So that's what I really wanted to highlight with that talk is how they compose together and how the server and the client just seamlessly. You have to think about it, but at the same time, you don't think about it because they blend together, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
So when you take the stage with all of this on your mind, are you confident? Are you confident going up on stage? Are you nervous every time? I suppose like doing 8 conferences in a year probably nulls the nerves to some degree, but
Well, I used to be very like terrified. The first times I did it, I was terrified. And it's something that I've never been very good at or just avoiding all my
mm,
life. So I was always that kid in class who's like trying to be last so that the teacher forgets about you and then you don't have to do it anymore. So it was really just the first time I did it was like I was so nervous. I'd been preparing for months. And like shaking, but even though you're shaking, you're able to perform somehow. And then step by step, it's been very slow for me. Like every time it gets easier.
how many
Yeah.
practices does that take? Is that you're doing hundreds of practices of that, or you're just reasonably confident with what you've got there?
Well, I've done this one talk in different versions a lot of times, and
Okay,
the your thing about the airport at 4 a.m. Well, live like doing your rehearsals with code is something you don't need internet for. You can just do it on the plane.
true.
So sometimes if I'm on the plane, okay, I'll have time to do a lot, and then just thinking in your head the explanations you're gonna give, and then I do prefer to do it also in my hotel room because it's different when you're actually saying it than just thinking it. So. I mean, the more rehearsals, the better, I guess, because every time you do one, you remember something that you want to say or
Mhm.
something you want to explain in a different way. yeah, for live coding for sure. I think just rehearsing it many times is really helpful.
For sure. Do you
Hmm.
have a go-to joke to get up there? I know that some people are very gifted at being funny on stage, but then it's possible also to try too hard, and that's I think that's my concern is
Yeah,
if you try too hard with a joke and it bombs, it's irrecoverable at that
I
point.
don't
Do
want
you,
that
do
to
you
be
try to
me.
work humor in? No, I mean there's no accusations in that, I promise.
No,
But
exactly. I'm not like naturally funny, but I try to kind of make it a little bit relaxed. But this has taken me like a long time to get used to it. In the beginning, I was like, I don't have any extra energy to try and make like funny statements or whatever. So I don't
sure,
really do jokes, but maybe if I feel like there's something that's kind of casual that fits in the
in the
context, I'm
moment.
gonna try. Sometimes it doesn't work. But what I did in the beginning is I have this because I'm not funny. That's why I have a joke app in my like. It's not the React Conf one, a different talk that I have a joke
Hmm.
app so that I can read the joke and then okay, it's not my joke. So if it's funny, good. If
Yep.
not, not my fault. You
Yeah,
know?
that's right. You've got someone to blame for the joke.
Yeah. So that's my strategy there.
I don't know if the schedule has actually been released at the time I'm recording this. Do you know what you were speaking about at Next.js Conf already?
Well, it's called elevating speed, interactivity, and user experience with server components, something like that. So it's going
Cool.
to be like same style, but it's going to be more focusing on the performance aspect and how to make this demo app that I'm going to make like feel good for the user when you're clicking things, when you're waiting for data to load, when you're doing searching, when you're doing filtering, all that kind of thing. So I'm hoping to include lots of different features that I haven't demoed before from
Hmm.
React 19 or from Next.js. Yeah, that's my idea there.
That's cool. And how built is the demo app at the moment? Because I know that's what I'm
It,
right in the middle of at the moment is
yeah.
building out the demo.
It has not been built yet. Um, but I asked I'm pretty close with my designer, so I asked her to maybe design something, and then I told her what I would kind of want to be. So hopefully she can make something within the week that's going to be like really cool and kind of be the next JS conf standard, right? Where it's just not the silly demo, but it actually has a nice UI, you know? I don't want to come up on the stage and then it's just this, whatever demo that doesn't look good.
It's funny that, yeah, there is a little bit of extra design expectation
Yeah,
because Vercel's got the slick, all black everything look, and yeah,
exactly.
you got to play ball. So another question I think's interesting too, because it's really cool to me when you see the conference speakers on stage and then see them around the venue as well to
Hmm.
be able to ask them
Yeah.
follow up questions. Like, but if people run into you at the conference, like, what's something that you're really interested in talking about, or what should somebody ask and
Mhm.
you're most excited to talk about?
Well, I really love when they have some kind of follow-up question about the demo or something that they were wondering more about or something that was like really clicking for them or oh maybe you could expand it in this way. I really love like discussing the possibilities of what I demoed, right? Because I'm
Hmm.
trying to get this nice flow and these features showcased in a good way. So if they have like follow-up questions or um, yeah, ideas about the demo, that's very exciting. Or about the features that I was demoing. I love talking about that.
Yeah, and that can be really useful then for the next talk
Mm,
as well. I don't know if you've run many
yeah,
workshops like off of your conferences, but I know it feels like every workshop I would do would then inform what the next one would be because someone would have a question or
exactly.
have an inspiration in some path perhaps you didn't follow before.
Definitely, it's super useful the feedback. And I know some people don't like to do talks multiple times, but
Mm.
every time I do a talk and then I get feedback, the next one is a little bit better, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's very valuable.
Very good. Well, thanks for your time. I know it's only
Thank
brief
you.
and different, but yeah, I'll see you at Next.js Conf.
See you.